Ooh. Great. I feel like I'm in a dating show. No, so let's start, dear Birgit. I've brought a few questions. So give us short and crisp answers, please, and we'll see if there will be a match. What is your superpower? Our diverse range of experience, our togetherness in solidarity, and sorry for the grandpas against the right, the fact that we're all women. Ooh. And what do people love about you? Well, I believe that the people love that we are always there as soon as there is a fight against injustice, right extremism, and exclusion. So we are there with our white vests and our pink caps, and we can be relied upon to be around. Yes, I do remember seeing these. A very good sign to recognize you. What do people criticize about you? Well, many believe that women at our age should belong somewhere completely different, not the street, and the fact that we're even loud there, that just is not on. Okay, I wonder who would say that. Okay, but let's leave it at that. What gets you enraged regularly? If narratives and terms from the right extreme worlds are taken into the center of society and spread there, that enrages us. Very understandable. What to you is a real no-go? The very same, actually. Okay, so right-wing narratives and ideas, yeah, which you can increasingly observe, and that is very difficult. And if an AfD politician from the right extremist AfD party in Germany is in a talk show and spins this whole thing further, then that is really annoying to us. I can understand that very well. And what gives you hope? Well, we have a lot of contact to young people, to initiatives of young people that all work for democracy, and that really does give us hope, seeing that we're not the last generation that is caring for democracy and the threat of fascism. So the new generation against the right, yes. What would a perfect world look like for you? A perfect world would be one with solidarity, where there is social justice, where there is no exclusion, and where life together is much more easy than it is now, to put it very mildly. Yes, very nice. What is the greatest misunderstanding regarding your initiative or your work? We are not paid, we don't receive state funding. The association that is our backup does not have charity status. I think that is the biggest misunderstanding of the 551 questions. But that really brought us some more support. And the other questions are much more pleasant, right? And they weren't 550, which is another good thing. And the last question, what is your motto? Our motto, officially or unofficially? Democracy, diversity, human rights. That is our guideline that we measure our work against. And you do great work. Thank you so much, Birgit Heller, of Grannies Against the Right.
Okay, we continue with the next initiative. Looking forward to it. It's about Polylux. It's a solidarity network started in 2019, and it works and helps in the eastern part of Germany and fights against right-wing extremism. Lisa is presenting them. Big round of applause. I'm really curious. We'll get to it. Lisa, you're getting the same questions as Birgit, but maybe before that, do you want to explain who is this? We'll get to it. Okay, no spoilers.
On your lap. On your lap.
What's your superpower? Our superpower is that we created a structure independent of the state to distribute money to projects that are in rural areas in the East, and we work against fascism in all forms. And that's hard work, as we can all imagine. What do people love about you guys? People love about Polylux that we make the other East visible. There is a different East. There is people who are living there permanently and who create projects because we collected money and can distribute it. And the people are thankful and love us for us making it easy to give them money. They don't have to invent things for a form, how creative their project is. If they just need money for a cultural event or a protest and who just want to do their work continually. What do people criticize about you? And by the way, applause is always allowed. Do it. Those initiatives are all great. I'll check it. So what do people criticize you for? So there is people asking us, what does Polylux mean? And it's criticizing us. But that's why I brought you Poly. It's our mascot. And Polylux is an old word from the East for a whole overhead projector. Those old things from the school, because small things that you put on it are enlarged and put into the light. And that's what we want to do with local initiatives. I don't have any positive associations with this from my school days, but you made it a positive thing. Thanks for that. So what makes you angry? Well, lately, the attacks of Cottbus. Celle 79 was a project we had contact with 5 years ago. And 5 years ago, we thought about protection against Nazis already. And all the time, those attacks are happening, and they need protection and help all the time. And the anti-fascists are left alone by the state, as was said before. What's a no-go for you? For example, the continual teardown of the firefighting wall, first on the local, then on the state, and then lately on the federal level. The fight against omas, grannies against right. For example, there's other things. The list is long. What gives you hope, on the other hand? Hope? We get hope because of the projects, the new initiatives that are just being founded. There is queer projects, they organize CSDs, Christopher Street Days locally. There is also old projects that have been there for years, and they really continue their work. And regularly, it's the same 10 people who organize a protest if Höcke, a extreme right politician. What's a perfect world? Well, the perfect world is a world where anti-fascists could depend on the state, and Polylux wouldn't be needed anymore. Great answer. What is the greatest misunderstanding concerning work? Well, it's a common one. We support rural areas and projects there because it's most difficult to network there. It's difficult to get money. And even from Berlin or Dresden, we get asked, but it's not our focus yet. Okay, and the question, what's your motto? Properly anti-fascist. A great final line, and thank you from Lisa from Polylux.
Right. We'll continue immediately with the next initiative, which I'm very much looking forward to, and that is Hate Aid. Hate Aid This is a charity organization in Berlin which strives for human rights in the digital arena, and human adults that are affected by digital violence will receive free advice here. And to represent Hate Aid, we have Dagmar Haggart. Okay. I love all the initiatives that are introduced here. That's something I would have to say. This is serious. When I say I'm so much looking forward to them, people think I'm using this in an inflationary way, but that it's true. So you are from Hate Aid, and we'll get through the very same questions with you that we've had with the Grandness Against Right and Polylux. And what, therefore, is your superpower? Our superpower is that we really look at various forms of violence that happen in the digital space, with the gaps in the law, with all forms of digital violence, to be prepared when people approach us and need our advice, be it individuals or organizations, politicians, institutions, government agencies, for them to tell them what we see and that we know what's happening. What do people love about you? We are very fast. I can vouch for that. So if people approach us, we will react within 3 or 4 days. What do people criticize about you? Sometimes people come with expectations, for example, that we can delete things, or that we have certain legal effects, impacts. We can't have that. We can support people in fighting back, but we're not the ones that can have content deleted from platforms. That's what the platforms have to do. It remains their prerogative, sadly, and that is not your fault, is it? It's not deserved criticism, but it's not my place to criticize this. What gets you enraged regularly? Many things. We do a lot of things in the internet. We cannot live without this digital space. We use Google Maps. Our everyday life consists of using the digital space. But at the same time, these digital spaces are not safe. And this is not by accident. This is by design. And that is something that we really get annoyed with. It disappoints those affected when they realize that a platform is unsafe by design. And then we try to fight against that. And there are other great organizations that are trying to fight against it. And these also receive a backlash. And these two levels are what really annoy us and make us furious. Is it well, they are debating German wording now, which we're not going to translate. What is a real no-go? We do not support anyone that spreads hatred by themselves. That is a very strict rule for us. Very good. I can imagine a few people that will not be able to approach you, but I'm not going to name them either. Now, what does a perfect world look like for you? A perfect world would be one in which people are not silenced, where journalists can really talk about and write about what is happening, what injustices and justices exist, and where that can be laid bare, and where people do not have to be afraid of voicing their opinion or taking public office, where journalists are not afraid to raise their voice on the net, and where the platforms are safe by design. And, well, I have to say, before I knew about Hate Aid, lots of times I was wondering whether I should post a tweet critical of the AfD party, the right-wing extremist party in Germany. And since I've known about you, I've become a bit more courageous. And these platforms are not God-given. These are companies, of course. What is the biggest misunderstanding regarding your work? The fact that the idea that we would only advise politicians, that is not true. We've advised more than 6,000 individuals, but of course these are people that are in the public, that have exposure, who talk about this, but that doesn't mean that it is only them who we support. What is your motto? Human rights applies in the digital arena. Fantastic. I cannot imagine a better conclusion. Thank you so much to Hate Aid. This is your applause.
We will continue with the next initiative. And I can welcome Beatrice Ulrich. She's CEO of ShareWorthy, Teilenswert in German. And it's a civic initiative that works against hatred in the networks. ShareWorthy want to enable people to work for freedom in public networks, in social networks. Hello, Beatrice. I love your trousers. You know the questions by now. Let's just go ahead. What's your superpower? Our superpower is to trick algorithms with prominence and reach to push topics that don't give enough attention. Tricking algorithms, that gives you my attention. What do people love about you? I think it's authenticity. It's also our values. People like that. If people say something who are in the limelight already, but it's also the possibility to step back and think about what's actually happening right now. What are we even talking about right now? So don't get captured by side stories, but really focus. What do people criticize about you? That we would be woke, in the German version of woke, left-green poison, basically. So we are inter-party organization. So, and people think that if you push facts, that you are part of a party. But it should be facts should be unpolitical or over-political because they should be unassailable. Nice answer. What enrages you regularly? Well, a lot. Top 3. Alternative facts, certainly. What's that even supposed to be? That just makes me angry. Populism. And last but not least, and it was discussed here a lot, populism that gets a lot of attention in social media. What's a real no-go for you? Individual critiques instead of attacking the system. You can critique individuals a lot, but at the end of the day, we have to check the issues that are systemic, and usually those are way bigger. What gives you hope? Definitely the feedback from our community. It's really nice to exchange messages and get feedback, also to exchange opinions with people we provided a platform to. Because it gives you the feeling we are more. It's not just a slogan. What does a perfect world look like? In a perfect world, everyone has the same access to education and everyone has the option to get a proper worldview and can live and act on that. I would like to work in this world. What's the biggest misunderstanding concerning your work? We have the privilege to have a lot of very public, maybe VIP faces. And people think we are really big, but no, we were just founded last year. We're really small, a really small team, so we really need support. And we cannot do everything at once. And people think, oh, so many VIPs. There must be a lot of people. But it's just me in my home office. Okay. More respect to you then, that you can do so much with such a small team. And hopefully the team grows soon. Last question for you, just for everyone. What's your motto? Make socials social again. There is so many great things that should be published and spread wide, and we are there to change that. And I think social media can become a better space. Well, your word in God's ear is what they say, I think. Thank you very much.
Okay, now we'll continue straight away. Next will be Johannes Töte of Project Together. This is a charity organization that supports social transformation through the working together of civil society, politics, and business. And the central project is the Workshop of the Courageous, which since January 2025 brings local shaping people with members of parliament. And I'm so glad that they're here. And here is Johannes Töte. Hi, Johannes. Dear Johannes, you know the game by now. What is your superpower? Our superpower is, you've already mentioned it, collective action, so the ability that people and institutions, organizations from very different sectors, business, civil society, and politics are brought together. So this is not actually our own superpower, it is actually within the readiness, the resources, and the willingness to shape things of all these many actors that we work with about these various issues, building, agriculture, and also the Workshop of the Courageous, where it's about making politics tangible. What do people love about you? We get the feedback that we are infectious. We have this infectious joy with maybe our young kind of unreasonable courage, but also a pragmatic idealism. So the ability to think of the big picture, but also get into implementation quite soon. Pragmatic idealism sounds great. What does make you furious regularly? Well, what makes us furious? Well, it can be that if someone who could actually join in when it comes to solving social challenges, if these people don't realize that it would be in their own interest to do this. So if you have to kind of people to force people to work for their good, and with that rage, of course, you can create something good. What do people criticize about you? A journalist from Stern magazine, whom I admire, wrote a very good article, and in it he wrote that our team would emanate an almost frightening optimism, which is kind of the flip side of what I've said before. But, well, what is the criticism here? Frightening optimism, that's kind of nice, isn't it? Well, that's not something you're used to, perhaps. Okay, what to you is a real no-go? A no-go would be, for us, would be if cynicism spreads. It sometimes needs its moment, but if it spreads throughout society, I think that is dangerous. And also if, in view of the big challenges that we face, if a kind of withdrawal into the private sphere could be seen, people leaving the political space when it would be important to get involved, when people think they cannot change anything. Yes, and that is what democracy speed dating is all about, because maybe that is a feeling that many of us have. If you are overwhelmed by what is happening and think you can't do much, and that is exactly what we want to use this format for, to improve this. So I'm very glad that you've said it. What would a perfect world look like to you? A perfect world would look like one where we will not be defeated by crises, when we remember the common goals, even if we had different paths of reaching them. And if you can dream maybe a world that is finally free from discrimination. Oh, that would be a perfect world, really. What gives you hope? Well, if kind of dating across the organizations were allowed, if civil society organizations that have such a lot of mobilization, and if the Workshop of the Courageous, where so many organizations and local and regional people and actors come together, who often in the small on the small scale are very pragmatic and ideological in creating solutions for the big issues, which on the national level would be so much fighted about. So these big things such as climate, energy, migration. And it gives us hope if you then look towards the small scale and see that something has been solved and achieved, and if you can then think what could then be taken from these solutions for the larger level. And there are many people that are coming together in the workshop of the courageous. What is the biggest misunderstanding regarding your work? Project Together is one of the 7 civil society organizations which in 2020, in the first days of the COVID pandemic, created this virus hackathon. And back then, after this hackathon, there was a large implementation program, so a whole process, and we were perceived as the organization that does hackathons. And I think everyone will agree that if you consider digitalization to be a wholly technical issue and not something social, we are tackling social issues. We're not just hacking. So, right, what finally is your motto? I would like to quote the Schwab Foundation, a think tank, which in April published a report in which they portrayed us and many other organizations worldwide with a perhaps similar approach, collective action. And the title was "The Future is Collective," and you could perhaps translate this as "The future is in collaboration." Perfect closing. I couldn't have thought of something better. Thank you so much, and this is your applause.
We will continue with our last initiative. Well, this was quick. I thought there was one more, but this is the last. But it's a strong one. For the victims of right-wing violence and other terrible things, they are helping anti-Semitic people. Judith Porat is here to represent them. Welcome. So it's for victims of right-wing, racist, and anti-Semitic violence. You already know it. Let's start with the first question. No losing time. What's your superpower? I could say 3 words. We are curious for the life stories that people bring with them, and solution opportunities, and empathy is, I think, our biggest superpower with what happens to people, and solidarity with those with victims of that violence. Great superpowers. What do people love about you? I would say that we never give up. We just stay on it, that we can make it inconvenient if injustices happen. And we help people to get their rights manifested. What do people criticize about you? Well, the opposite of that, or maybe the same. So we are annoying, and we like to be annoying, to maybe make the world a bit better in some places, and bring more solidarity to people who are being attacked. Well, that's a good kind of annoying, if you ask me. What enrages you regularly? Just like the ones before me, there is a lot. But right now, in these times, and the right-wing discourse that increases permanently, we are annoyed that perpetrators are talked about so much and not the people who are attacked in Germany, everywhere in Germany. And that's really annoying to us. And it's also annoying if administrations are not willing to help, or if politicians just talk and talk and talk, but don't want to change anything about the society. And we are annoyed, and that's what the QR code is for, that we always have to fight for the money we receive. 25 years since For 25 years now, we were never secure in our finances. You're very welcome to help us monetarily. Thank you. Well done. So, scan the QR code. Do you say scan them? But yeah, you know what I mean. And help them, help others. What gives you hope? The people that help us. Because we see it often that even if at first they are not brave, but they take the first step, they come to us and they were discriminated a lot. And it gives us hope that we feel like it's more and more people who are willing to fight for their rights and to say, we don't take that anymore. There is a lot of Christopher Street Days starting now. And the new season started. Just contribute also to the small Christopher Street Days, not just Berlin and Cologne or Hamburg. The small ones really need support because they are under a lot of pressure everywhere. And here and there, everywhere, they are attacked by young Nazis. So a call, we'll meet at the Christopher Street Day in Brandenburg. I mean it. What does a perfect world look like? Perfect world. Well, thinking small, I would say. We are not needed anymore. Maybe that's thinking big, I don't know. But I think it's a small thing. But for us, a perfect world would be a perfectly solidary world of plurality, of many living ideas that can coexist, where people have respect for each other. And it's not just everyone's the same. What's the biggest misunderstanding about your work? Some people think we would also help with leftist, extreme left, but no, we don't. We don't work with different ideas, it's just violence. And some people who come to us think we might be able to save them or change the world for them. No, we can just do little steps. We can't change the laws, we can't change the whole society, but we can stand with them and be with them, maybe fail together with them. Unfortunately, that happens a lot. It's not rare at all. That the story at the end isn't a good story, but it's one of failure, and we try to join them and be with them and still encourage them not to despair. Yeah, and maybe also catch them. What's your motto? You will never walk alone. That's our motto for many years now. Very nice. Thank you very, very much. That's your applause. And now we come to the end statements. We heard 6 initiatives. I will call all of them back, and they will give us short and crisp statements to convince us. And then I'm curious if there was a match for one or all of you. Big round of applause, and all initiatives back to the stage.
Okay, there will be room for all of us. If you spread around, go to the front so that people will see you, can't see you. So I'll move to here so I can see you all. And well, I'll be behind this plant in a strange way, but this will just yield nice pictures. So this now is your opportunity, all of you, for a closing statement to convince everyone about you and your work. Yeah, here's the microphone. So we'll go through you all, and we'll start with Granny's against the right. Granny's against the right. To be one granny against the right is not a question of biology, but of attitude, which means that we are open. And I can only call on you to get active for democracy. Do it with us, and if you can't or won't do it yourself, send your mother, send your granny. We'll take everyone gladly. Granny's against the right.
Okay, your final statement, Polylux. You are invited to help us with money. You can become a member. Also an initiative or a project, not just individuals, but also donate money. We also invite you to inform yourselves about the different kind of East. We invite you to go there and look at it closely, but also consider, do you have anything to offer? Can you maybe have events that are not just in Erfurt or Leipzig, but the small youth centers? In small, you don't see it. It's not in the villages. You get what I mean. You are really invited to do something. There's a lot to do. The capacities are really limited, not just money, but also time, energy. We need everyone. We need people to really change the situation.
Thank you. And Basma of Hate 8, Basma Bagat, this interpreter, apologizes for getting the name very wrong earlier. Yesterday, I saw a video from the US saying that life is what happens now, and that really woke me up because I realized it is true, and right extremism is what is happening now. So all you can see in your life, be it a comment, an offensive remark, react. It doesn't have to be with you don't have to be in a certain position or a job. It happens every second. Right extremism happens. It's happening now. We are highly alarmed. So get active, get involved, and if you need support, go to Hate 8. We like to advise for free as well.
Very nice. That's your applause. Beatrice from Shareworthy, teilenswert. Well, we are an offer to anyone. Join the WhatsApp. We are very open. We publish the topics we want to push. If you have a lot of connections, if you have a big reach, because that's how things go viral. So influencers also welcome. But also, we are a very small group. We are happy about donations, but also if you want to help us with your time, just write me.
Great. We will continue with Johannes of Project Together, your closing statement. Yes, the future is collective, so next to this general appeal, don't let yourself get divided, work together. You can do it in a concrete way on the 9th of July in the center of Berlin. The location isn't finalized yet, and we run the second edition of the nationwide workshop of the courageous. We'll invite so-called shapers, people that on the ground, from civil society, from government agencies, many mayors, people that have created great solutions, and we will bring these together with people that, in a constructive and democratic way, work in German politics and want to learn these and want to be strengthened. So this is werkstatt-der-mutigen.org or on our channels as Project Together. This is your applause. Thank you.
Judith, you have the final statement. What an honor, right? If you know people who are being attacked, doesn't matter if in the street, in the public space, in their free time, or in the digital realm, Hate 8 is there. We help you. There are hotlines. There is places that help victims of anti-Semitic, racist, or right-wing violence. In every state, there are helpers, and we come to every village. We help people. We also help online, but we'll come to you. Often, people just don't dare contacting us. That's why we need all of you. If you can just come to our Insta channel, and especially in Brandenburg, we have trouble to get funding. The SPD already told us that there is no more money for the next year. So please share our reels in all our channels. We really try to change the situation. Our colleagues in Saxony have the same troubles. There are funding cuts. So violence is increasing, and we have to keep all the support structures from breaking down, and that's why we need everyone. And you can share in the digital space. Doesn't matter what you do, you can help. Thank you very much. Big round of applause for all the initiatives. You do great work. Thank you very, very much. Now I have to make a decision. But you already know I won't make a decision, and I'm happy that I don't have to. And that's the bad thing. We don't have to decide for one of them. We don't have to choose. The 6 that we presented, we can start dialogues with Poli, for example, but also the other initiatives. It really encourages me, the work that you do, and the latest developments are heavy on me. And I'm looking to my first home. And compared to that, Germany is still a place for me. And what gives me hope, and I really mean it, is that all of us come together here. And even this late, people are still interested in these topics, but also that people like you exist. You do it, you don't make money with it. You spend a lot of time just for us to be able to hopefully live in this better world, in the perfect world we talked about. I'm trying not to cry, but this is also not the time to cry. I really mean it. Thank you very much for all your work. A big round of applause for all those initiatives.